So welcome back, everyone. It's Kelly with Women for One, and today I am really honored to be speaking with Sondos Shabayek, and she can actually correct me if I pronounce that wrong. Sondos lives in Cairo, Egypt. She's 29 years old, and she is a writer, a theater director, and a storyteller, which I think is so awesome and appropriate for all of our community to listen and engage with a woman from Cairo, Egypt, that's empowered, that's sharing stories through very unique venues and methods in Egypt and around the world. So a little background on Sondos. She focuses on exploring, exposing, and discussing social taboos in Egyptian society. And in 2011, in the aftermath of the Egyptian Revolution, her passion for uncovering and sharing true stories of the protesters led her to create the Tahrir Monologues, a street performance using individuals' accounts to recreate the 18 days in Tahrir Square. As part of the Monologues initiative, Sondos offers acting classes that allows people to perform their own real-life stories and experiences of this really intense time in Egypt's history. By providing training and an accessible platform, Sondos also aims to empower marginalized communities, giving them the tools to express themselves. And I just can't wait to have this conversation because I think it's so valuable and important for us in America and as Western women in Australia and all these different areas of the world to understand the cultural similarities and differences and challenges that both cultures have in understanding one another. And I'm just so honored to have Sondos today. So welcome, Sondos.
Thank you, Kelly.
So nice to speak with you. So just to get started, to give our community a little background on you, even though I did a little bit, could you tell us what brought you to the place where you're living your passion right now and working in theater and doing everything that you're doing in Cairo in Egypt?
Oh, it's such a big question. I saw the first performance of the project I'm currently working in 2006, and then I emailed the founder and I met her and I told her I was very much moved by the first performance. It was the first performance ever done in Busussy, and then the next year I joined, and then it kind of grew on me, I guess.
Can you explain what Busussy is?
Yeah, it's a performance of true stories by women in the community in Egypt.
Okay.
And it's usually a group of women who are not necessarily theater professionals, just amateurs and people who are interested in sharing stories or who have been through an experience which they find are unable to share anywhere else. So this is where Busussy steps in and tries to create a free and open platform for those women to be able to share their stories openly. That's basically, in a nutshell.
It's amazing that you're doing what, when I sat down and heard the words Women for One and heard that women should share their stories so they can speak their truth, no matter if they're externally oppressed or internally or self-oppressed. I think we both have that agreement that it's so valuable for women to share their experiences so they don't feel as alone. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
And so tell me a little bit more. So you did that, and then and what are you doing currently?
I'm still working on the project. We're trying to expand it and kind of work outside Cairo as well, not just in Cairo, because for the past years we've only been producing performances and working with stories mainly from Cairo. So what we're trying to do is to kind of duplicate the model in several cities around Egypt.
How is that going, the duplication?
Well, we already did a performance in a workshop this year in Alexandria.
Great.
And we were heading north again, and then in January we're heading south. So yeah, it's working bit by bit.
Can you tell us a story or something that was shared that was really impacted you from one of the performances? Can you explain what it's like to experience a performance?
It's usually a different collection of stories in the form of monologues by women, and they're usually about experiences that you don't find people talking about openly in places. So, I mean, in the very early performances, most of the stories would be about harassment.
Okay.
This was what really touched me at the very beginning, because back in 2006, not a lot of people were talking openly about it. No one was really calling it harassment. We would describe what happens, but we'd never label it. We'd never give it the name. And so this is one of the things that really moved me, because I felt, this is, I mean, I'm not alone.
Right.
Others have been through that as well. And this is still one of the themes that women most of the women want to talk about and share stories about. And this is one of the themes that also most of the female members of the audience are moved by.
What about the men? Are there men in the audience that are moved by it?
Yeah, usually, but the reactions are different. Men in the audience usually say, we did not know this happens. We did not know that the effect of it is to that extent. We thought it was just a matter of few minutes. We never thought that this is the actual impact on a girl.
So that's very educational for men to understand that, yes, because they are more in power on the external level, right? And, for them to be educated more about a woman's experience and understanding. I mean, I know with my own husband, I'll explain an experience to him and he'll go, oh, I didn't know you experienced it that way, because we all have a different, perception of our experience. Would you agree?
Definitely.
So it's kind of nice to see, like, no matter where you are. I mean, there's issues in the U.S. still about how women are always, if a woman is powerful, she's a bitch. But if she's, if a man's powerful, he's a god. So it's still there in the U.S., even though we have, I would say, externally more freedom. A lot of us still have grown up with this culture of internal oppression, if that makes sense.
Definitely. I mean, originally the project was founded to address local issues, but every single time we perform abroad, we realize that the issues are quite universal. Sometimes, I mean, the circumstances are different, but the emotional experience that women go through happens everywhere. It's just everywhere.
Yeah, and with you saying that, it really comes to my next question. Like, my whole intention around starting Women for One globally is to have women from every culture, every age, and every opinion be connected and to understand and communicate and inspire one another. So how do you think women from such different areas of the world with such different experiences can uplift one another and connect better? Do you have any ideas around that?
Actually, this is one of the things that most of us are not good at, especially when it comes to countries in the Arab region. We're very bad at networking, and this is one of the most important things. Whenever I travel to a conference and I meet others who are doing amazing work on the ground, I say, oh my God, how did I not meet you before? And this is a huge problem. We do not focus and we don't put so much effort into networking and connecting with each other. And this would make our work so much easier if we did. But yeah, I mean, I wish there was someone would kind of step up and take the initiative to create a network and a platform for all the projects working.
There's so many. There's so many out there, and there's it's almost like replicating efforts. It would be nice if we had some registry of everybody that's doing women's empowerment around the world, that could hold like a container, so you could like go somewhere and find all the places, you know, that you know,
I really wish
it would be beautiful. But more on the personal level, I've found that the cultural challenges, and you know what, that's negative, the cultural differences among, say, for example, you and me, or religions, or any of that, it's very challenging sometimes, I've found personally, to connect with women that have such different belief systems and understanding and than me. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but you know, here I am willing, you're willing, but you know, we probably, as much as my next door neighbor and I have differences, have very different belief systems about how things work. So that's kind of where I'm feeling like I just want to break through that wall and have a couple of values that everybody in the world could share, that we all respect each other's differences and are committed to communication. Do you have any values that you think we as Western women could use more of to be able to understand the plight of a woman in Cairo or in Egypt?
I wouldn't focus on values per se, but to be able to understand it. I mean, it's always interesting. The stories are very much the same if you look at them from the emotional journey, from the perspective of an emotional journey. Think of it. What does a woman feel if she goes through this? Okay, have you felt the same way? Probably, maybe through a different experience, but you felt the exact same way. The exact same emotion, perhaps with different intensity, but it's the same emotion. So sometimes it's almost the same experience. I mean, she gets harassed by a co-worker, the other gets harassed on the street. The experiences are different, the culture, yes, is different, but the emotional journey is the same. What she feels is the same. This feeling of being ashamed of your body, this feeling of feeling too guilty, thinking it's your fault. This is all, like, this is just every woman anywhere.
I love that. You nailed it on the head. It's the emotional experience, isn't it?
Yeah, very much. I mean, the more we perform abroad and we do workshops in different places, the more we realize that even though we are different, it's pretty much the same everywhere.
Where else are you performing abroad?
We performed in France. We gave a video presentation and a reading in Brighton. We gave a reading in Washington.
Where in Washington? D.C.?
Yeah. Okay. We performed in Jordan and in Beirut in Lebanon.
Will you come to Seattle? That's where I am. Seattle, Washington?
No, not so far, no.
No, I said, will you? I would love for you to come here.
Will we? I mean, maybe one day.
How do you raise the funds for what you're doing?
We're still trying to. I mean, we haven't really got the grip of it yet, but we're still learning. So far, we got two small funds from cultural funds for startup projects, local funds. Sometimes we raise some money through tickets. Sometimes we raise some money when we travel to festivals. We don't have like an endless source of funding or like a forever partner that would produce all our performances. So every single time we want to produce a new performance, we approach someone different. When it came to traveling around Egypt, we instead of just finding a whole fund for, let's say, 10 cities, we just approached the different projects and NGOs and cultural centers in each city, and we see who would be interested in partnering up to create a workshop and then a performance. And then we just make some sort of an agreement with them. So we take it step by step, really. We don't operate on a large scale at all.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I was thinking about what you're doing, and you know, in your bio it says that I didn't read it, but it talks about how you create and collect performances, which is an ongoing cycle of transferring the truth from people to people. And I love that. I think that's, you know, you transfer the truth to people. And my question is, what is your definition of what truth is?
It's the personal story as it is.
Say that again?
It's the personal story as it is.
As it is. Okay, the personal story as it is.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Without censoring, without rephrasing, without trying to correct or be politically correct or use a word that's nicer, that's better to the ears. It's just as the person who has been through it said it, just the same way.
Okay, that's beautiful. And my other question is, when you talk about that definition of truth, how do you think women, do you have any ways other than where you're performing, like what are the people's experiences when you're performing for them to be able to find and have the courage to speak their truth?
What do you mean? I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
Basically, you know, here you're performing, you're sharing these stories of truth, and the audience is experiencing it. How do you think that women and men can have the courage to share their truth by, you know, through watching your performances?
Well, in different ways. I mean, most of the members we have in our project were at some point in time members of an audience. I mean, we all watched a Busussy performance before we joined the project, and that's the reason why we joined. So the performances are also like a kind of ongoing recruiting process for people, whether they want to be part of a workshop, a performance, or just send in a story. That's one thing. But the other thing is, I mean, I do believe that you don't just need a stage. You don't have to go on stage and share your story. If you feel empowered, it will just affect all your life in general. You'll be able to step up and to someone who harasses you, or someone who in one way or another wants to hurt you. It's the sense of feeling empowered in general that kind of affects your whole life.
I completely agree. And when you say the word harass, what is your definition of harassment? Like, there's many definitions, but like, give us an example so women can understand and compare to what their experience is in the U.S.
It's the very general definition. I believe that everything comes underneath that. Verbal, the physical, you name it. Yani, my definition is a big one. Others would disagree, but I would say everything comes underneath that. Anything that violates you in any way.
And that's what the stories are about. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, do you have anything else that, you know, how can we find you? How can our community find you? Can you give me some websites they can go to see some of these videos that you've produced?
Yes, definitely. We're on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. Our website is under construction, but we're very present on social media. And so, yeah, I mean, our pages on Facebook is called the Busussy Project. And Busussy is Bussy Project.
Okay.
Same on Twitter, the same on YouTube.
Okay. That's fabulous. And I encourage all of our community to go and like them on social media. Watch some of the YouTubes, right? You have a couple YouTubes?
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
And they're also subtitled, so.
And you're all also what?
Subtitled. The videos are
subtitled. That's good. That's helpful for us.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Sondos. It was such a pleasure to speak with you, and I hope we can move forward and staying connected with our vision that's very similar around women and sharing their truth.
Thank you very much. Thank Thank you.
Thank you, and take care. And we will have this interview up with a couple of different highlights on our homepage for a while, and everybody can go and look at what Sondos is doing to make the world a better place. Thanks again, Sondos.
Thank you, Kelly.
Okay, bye.
Bye.